I am Jorge Vega and I am the director of the Technological Center, INTECCA of our university. INTECCA stands for Innovation and Technological Development of the Associated Centers. I will divide the presentation into 4 parts. First, we will have an introduction where we will present the challenge that we are facing. Second, we will describe the technological platform, which is an ecosystem that includes different solutions, functionalities, and technologies. Third, we will give some data on the usage of these platforms. And finally, we will make a final reflection and conclusions. First, we start with the introduction. In this presentation, we will explain how UNED supports its students through our structure of centers and classrooms distributed throughout the country, with the necessary technologies and various educational regulated and non-regulated opportunities. In my case, I will explain how the INTECCA platform innovation and technological development of the associated centers contributes to providing this educational offer in a hybrid model. In our opinion, this is a case that can be replicated in other countries, where this type of solution is therefore available for the optimization of educational services. On this slide, we can see the geographic and educational challenges we face. We have over than 200 offices nationwide, distributed in areas with very different population densities. To provide our educational services, we have hundreds of AVIP classrooms, audiovisual classrooms on IP technology, that comprise the INTECCA platform, a national network of training, information, and communication services that are the pillars of the knowledge economy. To meet this challenge, we have a well-suited organizational model that supports this hybrid methodology. In this case, the centers and classrooms of our university are the academic units organized in 5 territorial campuses using the INTECCA platform. They can optimize their work in networks, provide face-to-face and telematic tutoring, guide and assist students, offer library services, develop university extension and cultural development activities, organize and hold on-site final exams at the local centers, and allow laboratory practices. UNED carries out its teaching activity with the necessary collaboration of the tutors of the associated centers, who are part of the university community and participate in its governing bodies in accordance with the conditions established in its statutes. The tutors are in charge of the following complementary support activities to the teaching of the subjects, either in person or remotely and in one or more associated centers of UNED, always following the guidelines of the teaching teams. First, to guide the preparation of the subject and to clarify doubts about the content of the subjects they teach, following the guidelines of the corresponding department. Carry out, follow, and evaluate the exercises of the subjects that require it, according to the guidelines of the teaching team. Correct the continuous assessment tests, and explain the criteria used to correct the test. Inform the professor of the teaching team responsible for each subject about the student's preparation level, especially through continuous assessment. Guide the students to the evaluation tests. Participate in the monitoring of the virtual course according to the guidelines established. In each academic year, the associated centers, in the exercise of their competencies and according to their needs, elaborate their annual teaching plan and promote the information of those tutorials that, in their case, are necessary for the follow-up of the enrolled students. Second, we will describe the technological platform. This slide describes in a very schematic way the INTECCA platform with all its functionalities that we will describe little by little. It is a platform based on IP technology, the Internet technology, that allows what we call virtual presence, which means that from any center or classroom, you can access the live activities of any other center or classroom as if you were there. A very important first component of the INTECCA platform are the AVIP classrooms, audiovisual classrooms over IP technology, with the following main functionalities: real-time communication, allowing a teacher to communicate with his students remotely, as long as there is an internet connection. Different profiles are available. Presenter profiles for teachers and guest profiles, for example, for students. users have a panel where they describe how many are connected and where they can manage these profiles. We also have the chat tool where all users can participate. We have a whiteboard where you can load different presentations and use drawing tools to improve the explanations. We have a panel of presenters where you can see the different users who can participate as presenters, among other things. It also allows document management to upload and download different presentations in different formats and, of course, very importantly, allows the presenter to record the session. A very important feature of the INTECCA platform is My Recordings, the integrated manager of audiovisual content, which allows autonomous management of recordings, labeling based on standards, co-authoring, management of attached files, and has different output formats for access control. In short, it is a manager that allows authors to centrally manage their audiovisual content from a web interface. In addition, they can assign this meta-information to facilitate searches, access areas, licenses, attachments, and so on. Another key feature of the INTECCA platform is the digital content generator, the university's interactive content and course generator. In this case, the teachers, the content generators, will be able to create and manage their own educational materials in a collaborative environment. These can be books, virtual courses, continuous assessment tests, different types of activities. We're using basic units, which we will call learning objects, with which different outputs can be generated, for example, EPUB, HTML, PDF, Word, etc. So, it is an autonomous content generator. It is a centralized and scalable tool, fully integrated with the UNED repositories. It allows, we insist, collaborative work, content reuse, and it has several output formats. In terms of functionality, Kadena Campus has a dual mission. On the one hand, it allows live broadcasting of authoring done from AVIP classrooms with the possibility for users connected by streaming to communicate and interact via chat. And the second function is a repository of recordings made both from the AVIP classrooms so that students can play them whenever they wish. In this slide, we have the functionality of the digital content repository. It is a repository that centralizes all the digital content generated by UNED, both from the associated centers and AVIP Classrooms network. That is from the repository called Kadena Campus, as well as from the central headquarters, basically the eSpacio and Canal UNED repositories. The repository has a faceted search engine, that is, together with the search result, a series of search fields appear, which is very useful for locating other videos of the same series, year, etc., since each field can be used as an additional filter. One of the most outstanding aspects is the improvement of accessibility through artificial intelligence. We are currently working together with the Vice Rectorate for Technology and the Center for Disability Attention, UNITIS, on a project that includes the following improvements to the INTECCA platform. Generate subtitles for AVIP recordings. Generate summaries and keywords from the transcript. Include context, subjects, syllabus, etc., before generating captions to improve the results. Generate thumbnails from the summaries. Multi-language subtitles and transcripts. Third, we will present some usage data for these platforms. Next, we will see some data on the use of the platform as of December 31, 2024, which are indicators of the level of implementation of this hybrid system to provide academic services throughout the national territory. We have the total number of videos in the AVIP repository of 572,615. The number of visits to AVIP videos accumulated is 57,579,011. The number of active users on the platform is 623,676. The number of teachers registered on the platform is 14,448. As for the rating of AVIP web conference classrooms, in the range from 1 to 5, the result is 4,266. In the following slide, we can see the temporal evolution of the number of videos in the INTECCA repository until reaching the final figure on December 31, 2024, around 572,615 videos. In this slide, we continue analyzing some usage data. In this case, it is the number of active users of the INTECCA platform. The graph shows us the temporal evolution from 2015 to 2024. We see an upward type of evolution, and we see that indeed, as of December 31, 2024, we reached the figure of 623,676 active users on the INTECCA platform. This slide shows the evolution over time of the number of users who have recorded in INTECCA, mainly content creators, teachers and teacher tutors, etc., until reaching a figure of over 14,448 users on December 31, 2024. The next slide shows the adoption of the INTECCA platform as measured by the evolution of the number of AVIP recordings that occurred each month. The graph shows that technologies subject to strong network effects, as is the case of the INTECCA platform, typically have a relatively long initial slow settling phase, until a critical mass of users is reached, causing the exponential growth shown in the graph. An evolution of the service level between 2007 and 2024. The next slide shows the adoption of the INTECCA platform as measured by the evolution of the number of AVIP recordings that occurred each month. The graph shows that technologies subject to strong network effects, as is the case of the INTECCA platform, typically have a relatively long initial slow settling phase, until a critical mass of users is reached, causing the exponential growth shown in the graph. An evolution of the service level between 2007 and 2023. In this slide, we continue to examine the impact of the pandemic on UNED's hybrid model, and specifically on the INTECCA platform. In the graph you can visualize it measured by the number of weekly connections. In short, we can say that in addition to the long-term growth trend it has generated, as seen in the previous slides, the impact of COVID-19 on the use of this platform has been very significant. This is because the Rectorate has decided to use it in a generalized way, in order to be able to guarantee the blended learning characteristic of UNED and that no student would be left without their tutorials during the confinement. This led to a record demand, with an increase of 350% of the level of service in the second quarter of the academic year 2019 to 2020 and 600% at the beginning of the academic year 2020 to 2021. In the next slide, we continue analyzing the impact of the pandemic in this hybrid model of UNED on the level of service of the INTECCA platform. In this case, the graphs we see refer to the levels of concurrency and connections during the 2019 to 2020 academic year, and in short, the impact caused by a health emergency situation. On the left side, we see two lines, in blue the concurrency, or the number of users connected experiences an increase, as we were saying before, of 350% in that second term of the 2019 to 2020 academic year. And in red, the connections, that is, the number of accesses in the day, which has experienced an increase of 600%. The other graph, the one on the right, it is simply to be able to make a comparison between the courses. Finally, there will be a final reflection and presentation of conclusions. It is essential to note that the data presented in the previous slides reflect the overall activity carried out in the university network of centers, both in terms of formal education tutorials, which include over 30 university degrees, and the access course for people over 25, as well as a wide range of non-regulated education in the form of university extension and cultural development activities. To make this wide range of educational services possible, the university integrates a broad technological ecosystem in which, In addition to the INTECCA platform, which has been described in detail, we must emphasize, among others, Agora, which are the virtual courses for each subject, Academos for the management of formal education tutorials, and WebEx for the management of university extension. In conclusion, the hybrid model of UNED is a combination of in-person and online services. It is a model supported by a technological ecosystem that allows a broad network of centers and classrooms organized through territorial campuses to offer the highest quality of regulated and non-regulated educational services to all its students. It is a system that can be replicated in other territories that need to serve students at a distance and face the challenges of geographical dispersion, with large disparities in population density when it comes to guaranteeing quality higher education services.